Hey there, Calvary family. It's great to see you again for this 5th chapter. We only have one more after this. So I hope this is really a helpful process for you as you begin to work through each of these chapters that I think is so valuable to discipling our families. So this particular chapter is called Moments. Let me define for you the way the authors do on page 113 what they mean by moments. You might remember that last chapter we talked about time. Are there intentional parts to your schedule that are naturally built in, whether it's bedtime or whether it's meals that you eat together, a family devotional time or whatever? Are there specific times that you set aside that are intentionally built into your schedule? And that's one of the markers of time, that it's intentional and it's built in. Moments are a little bit different though, so we'll talk about that. Here's their definition. Family discipleship moments, that refers to capturing and leveraging opportunities in the course of everyday life for the purpose of gospel-centered conversations. Now, right away, your mind probably goes to opportunities that present themselves simply because God placed them in the way of your regularly scheduled everyday life. And that's exactly what they're talking about. Can we harness opportunities as they arise? Now, this is one of the shortest chapters, at least in terms of the explanation, but it's the fullest chapter in terms of resourcing. I'll tell you what I mean in just a minute, but the pages of reading are actually pretty minimal, followed by lots and lots and lots of segments that tell you what to do if this particular topic is one that you encounter. So let's briefly dive into that together. So one of the key principles for understanding moments is it has two key components. They're listed on pages 117 and 118. That's to know the characteristics of God. Who is God? What has He done? What is He doing? And what is He like? Those are the sorts of questions that if we as parents can ask ourselves and our kids each and every day, then we can take any moment that happens in life, anything that we encounter in life, and ask ourselves that grid of questions. Who is God in the middle of this moment? What's He done? What's He doing? What is He like? Here's a perfect example. My wife is really great at capturing moments, and I can recall times where we've looked at a beautiful sunset or a beautiful distant scene with mountains and clouds and so on. One of the first things that's easiest for us as adults to remind ourselves of is the beauty of the creation that God in His majesty and wonder has gifted to us. In that moment, who is God? He's the master, He's the creator, He's the sovereign, the one who rules and reigns over all. What has He done? He's given us this incredible world to live in. In fact, the Bible tells us that He's given us all things richly to enjoy. What is He doing? He is maintaining His world. According to the book of Philippians, He is in all things, and through Him all things hold together. By Him all things consist. What is He like? He is active in His world. He is the God who knows, who sees, and who understands. Those are just moments that you and I can harness by seeing something as simple and as beautiful as a sunset or a picturesque panoramic scene. And so these are moments that God allows us to harness. So characteristics of God is one of those two key components. The other is godly character. To grow in godliness, who am I? Who has God called me to be? What has He asked of me? How can I become more like Him? Now, fortunately, even those disappointing or hard or moments of struggle, even in all of those scenarios, this is something that I believe God gives us for a purpose. Who am I in this moment where I've been mistreated, or maybe somebody said something to me that I didn't appreciate, whatever it might be? In this moment, who am I? What is God calling me to do, or who is He calling me to be? What has He asked of me? And how can I become more like Him? How can I mimic the character of Christ, the chief shepherd, the one who, when He was reviled, didn't revile again, but committed Himself to the one who judges righteously? So those are opportunities that present themselves during the day. And again, the two things that really are two key components for those moments is characteristics of God and godly character, or characteristics of me that God is molding and shaping into me. There's all sorts of moments each day to teach godly character. And Jesus was, obviously, as God, He was an expert at it. He and His disciples, everywhere they went, He would use a fig tree as an object lesson. He would use someone in the crowd as a way to demonstrate the love of God to all of His people. This was something that Jesus did well, did frequently, and that you and I would do well to learn from. The reason I say it that way is because it's really hard for us to prepare for moments, but simply to understand as I go throughout the events of today, I really want to purposely ask God to give me opportunities to point my son or daughter to Him. That's really what it means to harness those moments. The reason I say it that way is because the book really gives us on pages 122 and following, let me tell you how many pages. It starts on 122 and continues all the way up through, page 133. About 12 pages worth of resources that are all listed categorically. Characteristics of God, foundational truths, godly character, what to do in one another moments, or in moments of sadness, anger, complaining, encouragement, anxiety, all of them listing Bible verses. What do we do as parents in those moments where our kids encounter these particular topics? It's a great resource, and it gives you and I chances to really redeem those moments. So, my admonition to myself as a dad, to all of us as families of faith here at Calvary Christian Academy, is that we would be people who disciple. We disciple our families by taking advantage of all of those moments that God gives us each and every day.